Section 3. Following site rules must be followed when working for trim formworks. All work and storage areas must be kept tidy. Listening to music is prohibited in PPE zones. This includes radio and headphones. Drip trays are mandatory for storing chemicals and fuels. Do not alter or adapt any working and height equipment unless trained and authorized to do so. Loan working is prohibited on site. The buddy system should always be followed. Do not work with any hazardous materials unless you know the proper precautions to be taken, storage requirements for that material, and protective equipment required. All waste must be placed in the designated containers specified for the purpose. Only suitably trained personnel may operate plant and equipment on site. Altering or adjusting any barrier, fencing, or safety settings unless trained to do so is prohibited. Failure to use toilet facilities provided on site is prohibited. Upon arrival, everybody must sign in, and when you're leaving, you must sign out, and do not deviate from permits, SPAs, RAMs, or procedures. PP requirements on site. What PP that must be worn at all times are safety footwear, hard hat, high visibility clothing, safety glasses, and gloves. Dependent on the risk assessment or the task, you may also be required to wear a face covering, gloves, goggles, visor, hearing protection, harness, including FPE, and RPE, which would be respiratory protection equipment. Housekeeping. Trim Formworks management will inspect works areas, plant, and equipment and to require defects affecting health and safety to be rectified. Trim Formworks operate a clear-as-you-go policy, and that will be adopted and enforced in all sites. All equipment, waste, and materials are to be cleared away as soon as the job is complete. Warning signage must be used where appropriate, and cordless tools are to be used where possible. Only 110-volt tools may be used on site, unless otherwise agreed. Damaged electrical cables should be removed from site, and do not operate or use tools, plant, or equipment unless competent to do so. Do not operate any tools, plant, or equipment that does not belong to Trim Formworks or from another company without permission. All tools, plant, and equipment are to be regularly inspected, tested, and maintained. Should you bring new tools to site, please make sure they have been declared. People and plant interface. Use standardized hand signals when directing plant movements. Never assume the operator can see you. Be aware of designated plant operating areas and avoid these zones unless absolutely necessary and with proper authorization. Keep clear of any swing radiuses. Make eye contact with plant operators wherever possible. Always walk on designated walkways and never walk behind moving plant. Be aware of plant movements and anticipate potential hazards. And a trained banksman signaler must be used to direct plant. Concrete. Concrete and cement products, if not controlled, can cause dermatitis, skin burns, skin sensitization, eye damage. So to ensure that you mitigate this as best as possible, you can clean as you go and ensure work areas are left in good condition. Avoid contact with the skin, good hygiene and regular washing of hands, arms and face. Safe manual handling techniques should be practiced at all times and wash thoroughly after use and use barrier cream provided. Correct PPE must be worn at all times. Long sleeve tops and full length trousers are to be enforced. Dust. Nuisance dust can often have long term health effects as well as making you uncomfortable whilst working. If working in dusty conditions, adequate dust masks and eye protection must be worn. Be aware of others in the area prior to creating dust and advise them that dusty works are about to commence, that they may need to leave the area. Minimize the chance of dust spreading by using dust suppressing methods and ensure ventilation is adequate where possible. Abrasive wheels. Powerful machines such as grinders or concrete saws, if not used correctly, can cause serious injury. You must be abrasive wheels trained. This equipment should only be used and have replacement discs fitted by competent persons in accordance with abrasive wheels regulations. When using disc cutters, PP should always be worn, and that will include eye protection, gloves, and a dust mask where applicable. And always inspect the disc for wear prior to use. Access and egress. Please ensure that you consider access and egress arrangements when you're working on site. Please comply with the following. Keep all access and egress free for materials. Assess areas where your fellow workmates may need to be working. Consider emergency evacuation arrangements for any injuries that may occur. And report issues with access and egress to a member of the Trim Formworks management team. Steel. Working in and around steel can be dangerous due to risk of impalement, slips, trips and falls, and manual handling risks. To ensure these risks are mitigated, you must use walkboards during the installation of steel, apply suitable reinforcement protection caps to prevent impalement, never block installed access routes with materials, use correct posture when tying, lifting, or handling steel, report and resolve any issues that may lead to an injury, and rams should be followed at all times for the activity. While completing rising elements, shuttering, or pouring, there will be a requirement to work at height. The following should be followed. Those who plan on working at height must be suitably trained. MUPs, pop-ups should be used where reasonably practicable. Edge protection must be installed on all leading edges. Ladders are to be used as the last resort for short duration works on access. Where you need to use a ladder, ladders should be tied off or booted and used for access only. A harness and lanyard must be used during all ladder works, and no works are to be completed near a leading edge where the height exceeds the handrail. Concrete must be poured from a suitable platform. Ladders are only permitted for access or for short duration works. These must only be used where the podium steps of the mobile tower scaffold will not be suitable. A harness and lanyard must be used while using the ladder, and the ladder must be constructed of sound material and free from defects, visually inspected before use and checked weekly. They must not be broken or damaged. If they are, they must never be used. Keep 3 points of contact while using the ladder at all times, and never overreach. This is the most common cause of falls from ladders. Scaffolding. Only trained and competent personnel are to carry out scaffolding erection or dismantling. Never interfere with the scaffolding, especially ties and boards. Never throw items from scaffolding, and check that scaffolds are complete before using them. Partially erected scaffolding or dismantled scaffolding must not be used. Ensure the scaffolds are not overloaded or cluttered with debris, and always use ladders to gain access to scaffold. Never, never climb the standards. Environmental. All employees in trim should ensure all waste is placed in the correct skips or bins. Employees must ensure that all waste, where possible, is added to the relevant waste receptacle and not general waste skip container. Do not burn waste on site. Do not dispose of surplus materials which may be reused. Do not leave engines running unnecessarily, and avoid creating unnecessary dust. Reduce site waste by returning packaging pallets with the suppliers. Respect at work. Some Formworks have a diverse workforce, and as such, we require that all your work colleagues, regardless of nationality, religion, race, or disability, are respected. Should there be any breach of this, you will find yourself in breach and ultimately face disciplinary action. This may lead to you being removed from Trim Formworks. Thank you for your time today. Should you have any questions, please bring it up with your foreman or your supervisor when you start on site with Trim Formworks. Have a good day.